Hi, welcome to the Pirate MIDI November update. If you're new here, we design and manufacture MIDI controllers and other equipment to help you get the most out of your guitar pedalboard or studio setup. So what's been going on? Well, plenty. And I'll start off with the first big one, the Bridge 6 and Bridge 4. As you may know, we discontinued these earlier in the year, and this was a bit of a tricky decision. Back in our original Kickstarter phase, we got a bunch of injection molded parts for the screen bracket and the light pipes done, and these were a really critical part of the assembly and something that is not easily replaceable with like a 3D printed option or something like that. They needed to be injection molded as part of the design, and we used all of the stock up that we had. We did another run of these parts about 2 years ago, built a very large quantity of those, and we sold through them. The injection molding partner, the factory that we were using, actually transferred ownership, and it was going to be a bit of a complex setup to get the same parts at the same quality and have to go through that process. And alongside this, we had been aware for quite some time that there were a number of changes, improvements, and things that we wanted to change to make the Bridge 6 and Bridge 4 and future devices even better. A number of hardware changes, an extensive list of firmware and software development as well, but a number of hardware changes that we felt would enable us to get the most out of these platforms. So we faced a bit of an inflection point, a turning point, if you will, where we either manufacture more of these parts for the existing design, knowing that we were already working on updated versions of these, or discontinue these in terms of sales while we work on the new versions. Now, to be very clear, discontinued does not mean we are discontinuing support or new features. Discontinued simply means we will not be selling these units anymore. And this has been really important to us because we wouldn't be here without the people who backed us originally, who bought a Bridge 6, who bought a Bridge 4, who believed in our vision for what MIDI controllers could be. And as you see, the light's going a little crazy behind me indicates the state of things in the moment. It's a pretty crazy time here at Pirate MIDI HQ. Yeah, we knew that we wanted to make these changes, and so rather than ship out hardware and have a bunch of stock and then face the possibility that we would have the new versions ready and have customers who maybe just bought the old hardware and then are then faced with a new version coming out, that feeling sucks. We didn't want to do that to anyone. But to be clear, we are still continuing firmware updates, adding new features. We've got quite a backlog of things that we're working on to make the experience even better, but we're designing new hardware, V2, Bridge 6 and Bridge 4s, that have some incredible features that I believe will set them apart from anything else out there at all. In developing this new platform, I wanted to make sure we did it in a way that was sustainable in terms of development. We're not creating a bunch of technical debt and problems for ourselves and our customers down the line, but also in a way that these can coexist, that new firmware features that roll out for these devices, wherever it's technically possible within the hardware, that we can make these features available for the version 1 devices as well. And so that, I believe, is the right path, because we don't want to planned obsolescence or removing features from products just because there's a new model come out, even though maybe it's technically possible to have them running on the old versions. That sucks. We don't want to be doing that. So considering this approach has been a pretty lengthy and time-consuming process, and the development has taken a lot longer than I would have liked, but we are getting there. So next year, expect to see some announcements about those. So don't worry, new firmware features, support for your existing hardware is not going away. We're simply working on upgraded version 2, Gen 2 devices that are going to be truly game-changing, and developing those in a way that the new firmware frameworks for that can coexist with the version 1, and they can share those improvements in firmware features and things like that wherever possible. So that's the state of Bridge OS. If you're looking to take your setup to the next level, then check out the Tones and Technology Mastering MIDI ebook. It has everything you need to know to become an expert in all things MIDI. It's easy to read and follow along with, is packed full of beautiful, high-quality digital illustrations, and it's a download, so it's yours to keep forever. And better yet, Chapter 2, which is the MIDI essentials, what you'll need to know to get up and running with your pedal board, your synth rig, whatever it is, for free. You can get that for free. That's right. So Chapter 2, available for free, and if you find that useful, consider checking out the entire ebook at Tones and Technology. There'll be a link down below, so be sure to grab your copy. We have been blown away by the support and the demand for our Polar devices. It's clear that people love the Tonex platform, but people don't love the lack of MIDI control or the display options that might be available. So it has been truly humbling to see the demand that you've all had for those. Now, the really exciting news is that we are also working on some upgrades to this, so stay tuned, including a new model, the Polar Pro, which will have 4 foot switches, LEDs for each foot switch, MIDI in, MIDI out for through, so you will no longer need a MIDI, like a MIDI splitter. If you want to control multiple Tonex ones, you can do that without having to have that extra piece of hardware as well as a controller for each Tonex one, so that's really exciting. Announcements for those as soon as we get over the big project we've been working on, which is Scribble. Again, we have been blown away by the demand for Scribble, and it hasn't even launched yet. It started based on a suggestion from a user in our community who said, along the lines of, hey, it'd be really cool if you could make a little screen to sit on top of my Chase Bliss pedals. I think he mentioned Chase Bliss. I said, oh, okay, yeah, that seems cool. I see the idea. Let me kind of play around with some ideas and see if it's doable, see if it's viable. And I didn't think much of it at first. I thought it might be maybe a niche product, maybe we'd sort of release it, see what the community, did with it, but I didn't think it was going to take off. But since we started putting some information out there about it, it's very clear that there is a lot of demand for it, and I think it is truly an amazing product in terms of what it can add to your existing hardware. Tiny little screen that can sit on top of your pedals, give it Bluetooth, USB, MIDI over the TRS 3.5mm ports. You can change the MIDI out port to be either Type A or Type B, so it's compatible with pretty much any pedal out there, and acts like a little hub for your pedal, as well as giving you real-time preset information, preset navigation, and a bunch of other cool things. So we're really excited to get that out there. So I think that's it for this update. We've got what's coming for the future of Bridge OS. We've got an update on our Polar devices. We've just been trying to build stock of those like crazy because people are ravenous for them, as well as the upcoming Scribble. So I'm going to be trying to do one of these every month so that you guys can stay in the loop with what's happening. And if you have any questions at all, please leave them in the comments below and we'll get back to you. See you next time, guys.